touch up a little bit. Because there's way more of you than I put 50s in for, yes? So I better make some more 50s. Now the stuff I'm doing right now in Excel, I'm going to teach you this at some point during the term. How's that? Feel pretty good? Okay. Now, let's go back. I'm going to leave that there for a second. Don't write these down. Don't write these down yet. We're going to deal with them in a second. Let's go back to the lab. Now, I asked a question. We've got all our data together. What should we do with it? So here's the data again. What should we do with this data? Because what I want to do is I want to deal with this data in a collective way and use all of our data at the same time to come up with an estimate of how many bass are actually in the lake.
Utilize Excel's wonderful programming.
And be more specific. I love that answer. Be more specific.
Can you get the total ratios at the bottom?
Oh, so Chris is saying, can I add up everything we've done? I think we can do that. So, I think we can do that. I'm going to do that right now. And this is, again, these are formulas I'm going to teach you during this term and also in 98 as well, just so, and 105 for that matter. So, whenever you do something in Excel that's a formula, you type an equal sign. Don't memorize this now, I'm just explaining what I'm doing. And then there are certain formulas in Excel, like one is called sum. So we can add all these numbers up. And what this tells us is, we add up all those. Hang on, let me do this. Let me make them bigger. Let me make it bolder so we can see them better. I'm feeling saucy. So I'm going to throw some grade cells behind it so it emphasizes a little bit. So on our first trial, we caught 52 tagged fish in total. Now some of you might be sitting there going, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. There are only 50 tagged fish in the lake. But why does that make sense? Right, some of you caught the same fish at some points, right? You were all netting in different places. So for example, Jessica, you went out on Monday and did a net and got 3, and Amber, you went on the next day and maybe got a net and got 5, and maybe you two caught the same fish on those days. Possible, right? Possible. Does that make sense? Yeah. In other words, you didn't catch every single tag fish necessarily, and you may have caught some of the fish more than one time. So that hopefully makes sense. In our sample, that means, should I continue the sum, Chris? Should I keep going? To the right? We sampled a total in that first of 1,200 fish in the lake. Fair enough? We buying this? Ask me any questions if this is not clear. I'm going to make that back to a different off-color way. Okay, good. Maybe I should do the formula here for the second trial, yes? Let's see how many fish. Looks like a... Here we go. 59 that time. Again, more than 50. But that doesn't bother us because what likely happened again?
People got the same fish.
We got the same fish multiple times. Totally happens. It totally happens. When you're catching, looking, and throwing back, you're creating the opportunity to catch that fish again. Or the non-tagged fish again, for that matter, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Beautiful, people. Hey, what's this number going to be? Without me doing the math, what's it going to be? Go ahead, Jessica. Yeah, it's going to be 1,200 again because it's the same number of people doing 50 times. Any questions right now? Okay.
So, what should we write down at 11?
We haven't decided what we're doing yet, have we? Can anybody have any ideas what we're going to do with these numbers? Any ideas? I love this. Tell me how. Hold that thought, Jenna. We're getting that, I promise you. What are you thinking, Ellie? What are you thinking?
52 over 59, and then the two 1,200s.
Hold that thought. I love that idea, but I want to talk through it. So, we do want to make a proportion, correct? We know we're going to make a proportion. I'm going to turn this off for just a second. We know we're going to make a proportion. I need my little eraser. Here we go. Okay. And we know it's going to look like this. Let's not think numbers. Let's think words. What went here? And if you want to, you can go back to page 2 of the lab to answer this. we kept putting the number 50 here. Why did we put the number 50 here over and over and over again?
Control number.
Good. Yes and yes. It's a control number. It's the total number of tagged fish that were in the lake. So 50 is going to go there. I love that. Thank you. We always had a question mark here, correct? Why is the question mark there? Because we don't know how many total fish are in the lake. So your proportion definitely needs to have this and this. The question is, what's going to go here and here? Here's what I recommend us not doing. Let's not use 52 and 59. How come? Why do we not want to use 52 here and 59 here? What are we ignoring if we do that?
The 1200.
Say that again, Ellie.
The 1200.
We got to keep track of all the fish we caught in total. Because otherwise, 52 tagged fish doesn't have any meaning. Wouldn't it be different if we actually caught 52 fish and they were all tagged? Versus catching 5,000 fish and 52 of them were tagged? That's a very different thing, isn't it? That's 100% versus 10%, and that's a huge difference. So, what number do you think we should put here? And this is a bit of a loaded question because, Rebecca, what are you thinking, my friend? Or are you just stretching? You were just stretching. You keep on stretching, my friend. I didn't interrupt a perfectly good stretch. I apologize. What do you think, Ellie?
52 times 59.
Why times?
Because plus wouldn't make sense with the ratio.
Why not?
I don't know. It just
Think
doesn't.
back. No, that's a great point. I thank you for that. Think back to the work that you did. Didn't you take 2 trials? You caught 50 and then caught 50 more?
Yeah.
And you had a number from your first trial that were tagged and a number from your second trial that were tagged? What did you do with those 2 tag numbers? You just added them together, didn't you? If you caught 3 the first time that were tagged and 4 the second time, that's 7 total. I think we can do that again right here, my friend. So how many tagged fish have we caught in total? 111. 52 plus 59 is 111 tagged fish. Now some of you are like, Sean, this doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
There are only 50 tagged fish in the lake. That's okay. We're going to deal with that with the next number. Because if this is bigger than that, this is going to be bigger than that, isn't it? You see what I'm getting at, people? If this number's bigger than that one, then this one is going to be bigger than that one. Math makes it all work out. How many total fish have we caught in our sample? I don't know why I'm singing to you.
2,400?
2,400! Yes!
What?
1,200. Check it out. We got 1,200 here and 1,200 here. That's 2,400 total.
Oh.
Does that make sense, my friend?
Yeah. How'd you get the 111? Sorry, I'm lost.
That's okay. 52 plus 59.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's the same thing y'all did with your sample,
Okay.
except we've got bigger samples now. That's all. Is that okay?
Yeah.
We buying this?
I gotcha.
Oh, thank you. So Jessica, you're playing the home game. You can add your numbers into that too. So you will have 2,500, yes, because you have 100 more, and then this will go up for whatever. None of us can use her numbers because we don't know what they are because the phone, it's not a phone. I keep calling it a phone. Don't worry, I'm talking to Jessica. You ignore me for now.
But I have 2,500 the first time.
Oh, no. Totally different 2,500. We're talking about 2 different things. You don't worry about that. Everybody, now, no, you're making yourself confused unnecessarily. Please don't. No.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know what you're going to do now, don't you? You know what you're going to do now, don't you?
Write it out.
Figure it out. Based on our combined number. How many are now there appear to be in Dave Lake?
What are you doing?
I'm singing to you to try to calm the mood down in the room.
Yeah,
I
no.
sense a little bit of angst.
You're
Tyrannosaurus Rex did not help me. I thought song might help me. I'll stop talking now. I apologize.
Well,
I'm gonna walk around and just visit. Should I turn the light off? Yes. Is this right here? Is that okay, Amber? No. Is it better if I do that? It's not gonna be a pretty number, right, my friends? Right, Matthias? It's not gonna be pretty, but that's okay. That's okay, brother. Oh, I love it. You divided by that to get that. Yes, I love it. Oh, you did method one. We got a method one fan over here. This makes me so damn happy. I'm not gonna lie to you, Ellie. It makes me so damn happy. Yeah. That's okay. It's easy's relative, right? Depends on a person.
That's the number I got. Do I just write
That's
that?
perfectly
Okay.
acceptable. And guess what? Guess what? Ellie agrees.
Yeah, it's ugly. It's
It's
very
not ugly. What does it ever do to you?
Talk to each other, please.
You should have a marshmallow lab so we can eat marshmallows.
I should have a marshmallow lab so you can eat the marshmallows. Okay. Fair enough. If I can figure out how to use marshmallows in this math class, I will. We're going to use M&Ms later. Is that okay?
Marshmallows.
Don't like no chocolate. I feel dark.
Marshmallows.
But marshmallows don't come in fun colors with percentages.
Yes, do.
But not with percentages. Like M&Ms. M&Ms actually makes their candies in certain percentages. We're going to test it.
Oh yeah, that's
Can we use ones you're not allergic to? Is that possible? Can we use like dark chocolate?
Yes.
Dark chocolates? No, dark chocolate doesn't have milk in it. Milk chocolate has milk. Dark chocolate is just cocoa. Does that make sense? Maybe we'll use the dark chocolate instead of the maybe.
I had issues with house
Sorry?
I don't know chocolate and it's fine. Okay. Dark chocolate works.
Yeah.
Well, that's my Italian breakfast today, unfortunately.
Yeah, see, I can't do. I'm okay with yogurt.
Pick it up.
She sometimes she's absent. It's cow's milk.
Be able to fly it.
Mine's like, I know you're going to like, it was like sometimes like this.
No, I lived in Italy for a year.
Okay, then you.
I was that way and then I just
You can.
Give me out.
but it went holy crap.
All right, people, we getting a number? Is it horrendous?
I guess it.
Yeah.
I can't have coconut.
Are we getting a number? Is it a little bit messy? Yeah, of course, because that's what real life is. Real life has messy numbers, right? It's okay. We can deal with that. We can totally deal with real life and its messy numbers. It's okay. We're gonna deal with it right now. Okay. So are we happy with this? We're okay with this. This is okay. Okay. I am okay with it too. And the reason I'm okay with it is for a couple of reasons. Number one, the main reason is because I love this 50 over question mark. That's 100% true. Because we know there's 50 tagged fish in the lake, and we don't know how many fish are in the lake. That ratio should be equivalent to the ratio we got, assuming we were visiting the lake and randomly and correctly sampling fish. We did a good job. Excel took care of it for us. How many of you, I know Ellie, you did method 1 on this. I'm guessing the rest of you probably did method 2. I'm guessing. You did 2,400 times 50, I'm assuming, right? 2,400 times 50 equals 111 times the question mark. I'm guessing that's what, oh, I didn't start this camera again, did I?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I never stopped it. So, we're both
You
right.
did start it again.
I thought I stopped it after I stopped talking and was walking around. Sorry, Jessica, we're still here. Okay, and then we divided by 111, yes?
Yeah.
Thank you. So we got, 2,400 times 50, don't tell me, is that 12,000?
Wait a minute.
120.
120,000, all by a zero, right, thank you. 120,000, off by a zero, divided by 111. And then you got a horrendous number,
Yep.
which is about 1,081. Yes, as I was walking around, I kept seeing that number, about 1,081. Now, I'm gonna we're gonna figure out why 1,081. I'm guessing you used your calculators on this. I'm guessing. That's totally fine. I'm gonna put the screen on for a second so we can see it. I'm gonna use my calculator, which is Google.
This makes no sense to me.
We're gonna make it make sense, don't worry. Oh, the math. You do it your way, Ellie. You keep doing it your way, girl, okay? You keep doing it your way. Don't do it our way if you don't like our way. We're getting the same results because the math is both correct. Okay, so there's the result you get.
Yeah. Exactly.
At this point, if we are not happy with decimals, ignore them for now. So anything over here, ignore for now and focus only on the 1,081. We'll deal with the decimals in time. We'll deal with the decimals in time, okay? For now, truncate it off, if you think about what that actually means, it's a fraction of a fish. It's not that important anyway. It's a fin, right? It's a fin, or it's an eyeball or two or something. It's a tenth of a fish or a 20.
It's fish eggs.
It could be the eggs, actually. Based on the research I've been doing up at Green Lakes, every brook trout I pull out of that lake is laden with hundreds of eggs, which ODFW is upset about because they stocked them up there years and years ago, and now they're starting to leach into other bodies of water from Green Lakes, which is a problem because they're not native to this. So yes, it could very well be the eggs, and that would be important, believe it or not. So very good, very good. So we got about 1,081 bass. This is an estimate based on our samples, yes? Are we ever going to know? Let's finish up the lab, and I'm going to show you how close y'all came to the actual number. Because I can actually show you the lake, because I did it in Excel. You know what? Let's do that right now. Let's do that right now. Forget, we'll finish the lab. Oh, God. Oh, God.
You hate that noise, don't
I
you?
do. It's so abrasive. It's kind of like me. It's like the
You're
pull-down
more
screen version of Sean.
So you don't like yourself?
No kidding. I said abrasive. I love myself. Here's the lake.
Oh.
The fish are swimming around in this lake. Do you remember I showed you this on the first day? There are the tagged fish swimming around, yes? Here are the actual fish. Now what I'm going to do,
Wait.
I'm going to show you where they are. Every one of those little numbers is a fish. I hid them from you by coloring them white so you couldn't see them as they were swimming around. Every one of those little numbers is a fish. And every time I press F9, just like y'all did, they're swimming around. This is how you make a computer simulate a lake. It's pretty sweet, actually. So let's count. It starts over here, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4. Somebody stop me. 5.
Stop.
Thank you. Okay, if that ever happens again, you need to stop me before I count all the way down to the bottom. Because guess what Excel can do? Count for us. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to select all of them.
Control A.
Will that do all of them or the entire, well, it's okay, I already got them. I'm not sure if that would do the whole sheet or just the numbers. I'm not sure entirely.
Why don't you just calculate the linear value of t and then times the bottom?
Because this tells me it's 1,000. You are so rad. Because Excel tells me there's 1,000 of them right there. How close did we get? We did pretty damn well. We got 1,081, there's actually 1,000, so we overestimated by 80 fish. That's not much of a miss based on the uncertainty of only catching a few at a time. That's pretty amazing, actually. Could we get a more refined, better answer?
More studies.
Yes, more samples, more studies, which is why it's so important. Those of you that are in psychology and sociology, you'll learn about what's called replication of studies. Andrea Woodall, if you have her, she'll tell you all about this. Replication of studies is so important because, for example, Jenna, your first catch, you had 0 tagged fish out of 50, yes? 0 out of 50. By that estimate, there are no tagged fish in the lake. But that's not correct because we know there are. So you go back and you catch, and you catch, and you keep collating the data together. You put it all together, you put it all together, you come up with your results that way. Is that cool? Let's take a look at the last 2. Oh, please, Ellie, go!
So does that mean our 81.9 is actually the double catched fish?
No, it just means that the math we did is never going to be perfectly in agreement with the lake. See, here's the deal. I've actually run this experiment in the past and gotten fewer fish than are in the lake, like 950. Those still probably had double caught fish in them too. It's how our numbers fell this time around. Jessica I'm not sure how many fish she had, but for example, suppose she had 0 out of 5 and 0 out of 5. That means she's going to have 111 out of 2,500. She's going to have a lower estimate on hers than we are because she caught fewer tagged fish than we did. Or excuse me, a higher estimate than we did because she caught fewer tagged fish. So it all depends on where the nets fall.
Okay.
Is that fair? Fantastic question, my friend. Fantastic question. Let's look at the last 2 questions on the lab, yes? Because we're almost done. Pumped. Would it ever be possible to count every largemouth bass in Devil's Lake? Why or why not? And what are some challenges this capture-recapture method has to deal with? Put some thoughts down there, and then we'll regroup. While you're doing that, I'm going to hand you 2 things. One thing for next time, and one thing for next time. So that's 2 things for next time. Sean. Jesus, I'm gonna give you this to staple. I'm gonna have a stapler following you around, if that's okay. That's all for you. That's all. Those are all for you.
And this is 230.
No, God, no. This is notes. Just take this for now on. And notes, believe it or not. So, stop. I'm going to only give you one thing next time because I grabbed the wrong thing. I was supposed to give you notes. That actually wasn't that, which was incorrect. I printed the wrong thing. It's okay. We'll get the right thing for next time.
So this is only the next one. So
Yes. Go ahead and put some thoughts down for numbers 12 and 13. We're almost done. You're doing well.
Yeah. Is this the homework?
This is, yes.
Yay!
I know, right?
What? I love homework
Look.
because I get it done in like 5 minutes. Because I gotta be a tutor.
No, share with friends.
I have to redo because I went to look because I did it during the class and then when I saved it so it didn't save. So I did at least
Yes.
do it.
What's up?
I'm so sad.
Sorry,
I had to go finish it so I didn't like do what it is.
Oh, sure.
What do you mean by capture?
So what we did was, the capture was when we actually caught 50 bass and tagged them. And we threw them back into the lake. Then we individually went out and scooped. So we recaptured some of them. That's all that means, my friend, okay?
I wonder if we can calculate the average cost of computers per
Oh, say that again. That was wonderful.
I wonder if we can calculate the average cost of computers per student.
Average cost. You mean for?
The laptop. Like, basically, for example, the average cost for a student will vary because of their major, so their laptop requirements are different. So you can have a cheap computer from $600 to $2,000.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, yeah. Yes, you could do that. As a matter of fact, that's some of the stuff we do around here to look at viability of programs and look at their costs, their overriding costs. So that, yes, that can be done. Absolutely.
Do we have two pages of
No, just one. Just one page for homework for y'all. Because I have to take care of this one between now and next lesson. Okay, a couple more minutes to read to finish up your. We are. After we make sure that we're all happy with our answers in 12 and 13. I mean, you definitely want to because that one. Yes, I don't expect you to do it right now.
Stupid. So sometimes one thing there, I don't remember the name of it.
We're still writing.
It's like
Hold that thought. Just we're gonna get you Matthias. I want to make sure we're all
I think that's
keep the band together.
the name of the site or something. So
Quote
before
John Goodman from Raising Arizona. You never leave a man behind. He swore in that too. I swore enough today. Sorry.
Do you know who John
so I
Wayne
learned
is?
that.
Who John Wayne is? Yes, I am old man, so I know who John Wayne is. That doesn't mean young people don't know who John Wayne is, but I am
Actually,
definitely.
most people don't know who John Wayne is.
I think it's because he's been dead for so long now. He's. What did he do?
19, it's 15,
That's when he was active, right? That's when he was acting, or did he die in the 50s?
He died in 1978.
78. That's what I thought, right? Because we shared life for a little while. I mean, I didn't know who he was until he was dead, but I grew up with references to him all over the place. You know, he owned an island off of Washington State, filled it with animals from Africa, and then had hunting parties up there. Crazy.
He also owns
All right, shall we regroup and chat about these last couple answers? I sense we're getting tired of this bass tagging. It's a good thing it's almost over. Would it ever be possible to count every bass in Davis Lake? No. The only way I can think of one way. Well, why or why not? Tell me why no, Jessica. I love that answer. So. Amber. Because the only way to find them all would be to drain the lake. Which, theoretically speaking, since it's a Cascade Lake, you could drain it if you had a lot of money and didn't care about getting arrested. You could blow a hole through the lava dam and drain it really quickly, actually. They're already draining anyway. But now we're talking about stuff that's impossible, feasibly impossible to do. So you would never find them all. As a matter of fact, if you tried to, they'd be reproducing while you were doing it. It's the same reason that since the census is most likely often fails every 10 years. They try to count every American, which is a noble feat. But the problem is, when the census was created, there were like 22 people in America. It was like George Washington, his wife, Thomas Jefferson, his wife, Betsy Ross, and there were like more horses than people. Like so to count the Americans, they just walked outside and said, Martha, are you and George home? Yes. Check, check. How about you, Thomas? Yes. I mean, it was easy. Now you got 330 million people in the country. It's too hard to count. And they're even the Census Bureau is admitting that. They're going to do something similar to what you just did, most likely in the next census, because it's too hard to count everybody. Awesome. Too hard to count them all. Yes, you could, but I just think there'd be too many places for fish to hide, and it would be cost prohibitive, right? It'd be too expensive. Ellie, go ahead.
I said yes, but it's annoying and stupid behavior.
I agree with that, yes. Because chances are, if you were actually counting them all, you'd have to then, to make sure you didn't double count them, you'd have to lift the bass off, count it, and then put it somewhere. Not put it back in the lake, or mark it in some way, which either way might damage the fish.
If we're at that point, why don't we just remove all of the bass while we're counting?
Which, just FYI, Ellie brings up a good point, ODFW will sometimes kill an entire body of water. It happened 2 or 3 years ago in South Twin or North Twin Lake. They killed the entire lake because of invasive fish species. So they actually use rotenone, I think it's called. It's a plant-based chemical that actually kills everything in the lake. But then it also wears off over a year, and then they can restock it with native fish. So that can happen, but the downside, you don't want to do that unless you absolutely have to, because it kills everything in the lake, not just the invasives. Fair? Exactly. Okay, what are some challenges? Obvious challenges. When I say challenges, I mean things that don't get us the exact answer. Chris, please.
Fish are constantly moving.
Fish are constantly moving, which means you have to adjust your netting practices to keep track of that. Thank you, sir. Duplicates, yes, duplicates. You're using an assumption that your duplicate catches are the same as your duplicate totals, which actually worked out pretty well for us. So as long as the science follows the duplicates, I think we're okay there. Any other challenges? I should have asked any benefits. What are the benefits of doing it our way? I didn't ask this. I should have asked this question at the bottom. Chris, yeah?
You don't have to net the whole way.
I mean, we actually take care of question 12 with a benefit, right? You don't have to catch them all, and you still get pretty damn close. Like, were we off by 100,000 fish? No, we were off by 80 fish out of 1,000. That is less than 10% error. That's really freaking good scientifically. So, yeah, that's a huge, to get that close and with that little effort is actually pretty fantastic. All right. Speaking of fish, we're done for the day. Speaking of fish, remember, a couple weeks, fish rescue. I'll let you know the exact date when I know. Let's turn those puppies in, yes! I put your homework for next time on the desk with you. It's a single page. It involves dice, yes? So make sure you bring that for next time. Lab, big little pile of labs right here. Bless you all. I stepped on somebody's foot. I'm sorry. I'm gonna walk away. Jessica, you take care of yourself. We'll get you another video on Thursday. Maybe, hopefully it won't suck as bad as this one did. See you. Matthias, be well, my friend. Take care of yourself. See you. Amelia.
Right now.
Your homework?
Yeah.
Do you want to? Sure, no problem, my friend. Absolutely, if you want to. Did you actually roll a die?
Yeah.
You were on your phone?
Yeah.
Badass. Totally fine, totally fine.
Wow.
One thing is we're going to have uncertainty because we're never actually going to count them all. So our answer is going to be off a little bit. Does that make sense? That is great. Totally fine. That was a good challenge, actually. Just have that for 13. Take your time. You got time. I'll let you out early to make sure you can finish up. Justin, absolutely. Hi. You're going to do that for next time. This is your homework for next class. I said imagine rolling a single 6-sided die, but don't actually do that yet, though. You'll do that down here. Yes, see? Then it says, now go find a single die, and you can switch that. Okay? Yeah. Hi. You just would attach this to your homework when you bring it by. Okay, does that make sense, Monica? Thank you.
I'm not doing mine.
Feeling better? Yeah, you are.
As a catalyst.
I got you. And it made me super nervous too, trust me. I spent most of my formative years in math fearing failure. But here's the deal. What I'm trying to do here is to develop more conversational flow. I'm trying to get you to discover the stuff that I discovered without the agenda I had to go through to learn. So stick with me. I know you are. I have so many students. Not to say, I've heard so many students sound just like this.
All of us should get together and collaborate
Not just
with each other.
survive math. Some actually like it when they're done.
You know what I mean?
I think you will. I think you
Just
will.
because the
We got
material's
this.
so
We
bland.
got this. We got this. On 14, my friends. Yes.
For me to read that.
Oh, I like that. That's too clever for me to come up with, though. See you, Jessica. We'll see you on Thursday.
Together, you know what I mean?
That's just good.
All right.